Let me tell you something remarkable about success. People don't invest in talent first. They invest in trust. And trust, my friends, isn't built in a day. It's built daily. The marketplace doesn't reward the person who works hard once. It rewards the one who shows up with excellence again and again. Because consistency is what transforms effort into reputation, and reputation into opportunity. I learned early on that reliability is one of the most profitable qualities you can develop. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how charming you are, or how big your goals are. If people can't depend on you, your value drops instantly. But if you become that rare person who always does what they say they will do, who delivers even when no one is watching, the world begins to move out of your way. Doors open not because you demanded them to, but because you earned the trust of those who control them. When I was starting out, I didn't have much, no reputation, no experience, no network. What I did have was a promise I made to myself. If I said I'd be there at 8, I'd be there at 7:45. If I said I'd deliver by Friday, it'd be done by Thursday. And do you know what happened? People started to take notice. They didn't just see my work, they began to trust my word. That trust built relationships, and those relationships built income. I didn't have to chase opportunity anymore. Consistency attracted it to me. You see, trust is like a currency. You build it in small deposits through actions repeated over time until people know they can count on you. And here's the secret. The more people trust you, the less you have to convince them. Your word becomes your contract. Your character becomes your brand. And your consistency becomes your greatest marketing tool. Now, this isn't just about others trusting you. It's also about you trusting yourself. Every time you keep a promise, you strengthen your own confidence. Every time you follow through, you teach your subconscious that your word means something. That inner trust is what fuels discipline. You begin to realize, if I say I'll do it, I will. And that belief, that reliability with yourself, is the foundation of greatness. So here's what I challenge you to do. Start today by keeping one small promise. Finish what you start. Arrive when you say you will. Follow through, even when it's inconvenient. Because the truth is, the marketplace rewards reliability. People may forgive mistakes, but they never forget inconsistency. When others can count on you, wealth starts to count on you too. Consistency builds trust, and trust builds wealth. You know, everyone starts their journey fired up. They read the book, they attend the seminar, they set the goal, and for a while, motivation keeps them moving. But here's the truth. Motivation fades. The real question isn't how motivated you are. It's how disciplined your habits are. Because it's not what you do once in a while that shapes your future, it's what you do consistently. Habits, not hope, decide, destiny. When I was young, I learned something that changed everything for me. A man said, if you want to predict someone's future, don't look at their dreams, look at their daily routine. I thought that was profound. Because most people don't realize they're building their future every day, one small action at a time. You see, habits are invisible architects. They quietly construct your life while you're not paying attention. And if you don't consciously build good ones, you'll unconsciously build bad ones. Every bad habit seems harmless in the moment, skipping the book today, spending instead of saving, sleeping in instead of showing up. But those tiny choices compound, just like money in the bank. A single cigarette doesn't kill you, just like a single missed workout doesn't ruin your health. But the repetition, that's where your future's written. Habits either build your foundation or chip it away. So the strategy is simple but not easy. You don't need to change everything at once. You just need to start with one. Find one habit that's stealing your potential and replace it with one that serves your goals. Maybe you trade 20 minutes of scrolling for 20 minutes of reading. Maybe you replace late night snacking with a short walk. One swap at a time, one victory at a time, you begin to take your life back. When I started keeping a journal, it wasn't a big deal, just a few notes about my goals, my thoughts, and my results. But over time, it became one of my most powerful tools. It showed me my patterns, where I was consistent and where I was careless. That kind of self-awareness turns chaos into control. Because the greatest freedom you can ever achieve is the ability to control your habits before they control you. And here's the beauty of it. Habits compound in both directions. The bad ones drag you downward a little at a time. The good ones lift you upward a little at a time. You might not notice it today, but 30 days, 60 days, 90 days later, everything starts to look different. Your energy rises, your confidence grows, your results begin to multiply. So, guard your habits like treasure. Don't let your future be stolen by routine mediocrity. Audit your days, watch your actions, and remember this truth. Motivation may light the fire, but habit keeps it burning. Build the right habits, and they'll build you a life that motivation could never sustain. It's amazing how many people fill their shelves with books, their phones with notes, and their minds with ideas, yet never move an inch closer to success. You see, knowledge by itself isn't power. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes powerful when you apply it, when it moves from the page into your behavior, from your head into your hands. The secret isn't to know more. It's to do more with what you know. When I was young, I devoured every book I could find on success, wealth, and philosophy. I took notes, underlined paragraphs, and filled journals with quotes. But one day my mentor said something that cut right through me. He said, "You've been reading all these books, but how many pages have you lived?" That hit hard because I realized I was collecting information instead of transformation. I was a library, not a laboratory. I knew it was time to change my approach. From that day forward, I made a new rule. For every book I read, I had to apply one idea, just one. If I learned something about time management, I tested it that week. If I discovered a principle about saving, I implemented it that month. And you know what happened? My life began to shift, slowly but unmistakably. Because applied knowledge has motion, and motion creates momentum. Every small experiment, every single step compounds into progress. So here's what I've learned. Learning without application is like planting seeds but never watering them. The seed might be perfect, but without consistent action, it never grows. The person who reads one book and applies it will always surpass the one who reads 100 and does nothing. And there's another piece, reflection. Taking time to look back at what you've learned and how you've used it. Once a week, I'd ask myself, what did I learn this week? How did I use it? What results did it bring? That simple question turns ordinary reading into lifelong learning. It forces you to see patterns, to recognize progress, and to refine what works. But the real magic happens when you teach what you've learned. When you explain a lesson to someone else, a friend, a colleague, a mentee, it cements it in your own understanding. Teaching transforms theory into mastery. Every time you share wisdom, it deepens in you. So, don't just read the book, live it. Don't just take notes, take steps. Don't just listen to ideas, turn them into action. The marketplace doesn't reward what you know, it rewards what you do consistently. Learning, applying, and repeating is the formula that turns ordinary knowledge into extraordinary results. That's how dreamers become doers, and doers become achievers. And if you make that process your daily discipline, life will open its vault of rewards in ways you never imagined. When it comes to money, most people make one fundamental mistake. They work for it, but they never make it work for them. They earn, they spend, and they start the cycle all over again, wondering why financial freedom always seems just out of reach. But the truth is simple. You can't build wealth without keeping part of what you earn. Saving isn't just a financial habit. It's an act of self-respect. It's the discipline of saying, I value my future more than my impulse. When I was starting out, I didn't have much. In fact, I had more month left than money at the end of each paycheck. But one day, my mentor looked me in the eye and asked a question that changed everything. He said, have you ever saved even 10 cents from every dollar you've earned? I told him no, that I couldn't afford to save anything. He smiled and said, then that's where we start. It was humbling, even embarrassing, but he was right. Because saving isn't about the amount, it's about the attitude. If you can't manage a little, you won't manage a lot. The same habits that control a dollar will control a fortune. So, I began small. 10 cents on every dollar. That was my start. It felt insignificant at first, but over time it changed me. I wasn't just saving money, I was building character. Every time I saved, I proved to myself that I could control my finances instead of letting them control me. And as those savings grew, so did my confidence. I began to see that financial security doesn't come from how much you make, it comes from how much you keep. Here's the secret. Saving is not about numbers, it's about consistency. It's about doing it automatically, without debate or delay. Because if you wait to save what's left over, you'll never have anything left to save. Automate it. Treat it like a bill, a non-negotiable payment to your future self. Whether it's $10 or $10,000, the act itself shapes your destiny. Over time, those small deposits become capital. And capital, that's the seed of wealth. It's what allows you to invest, to create, to build something lasting. Every time you get a raise, increase your savings rate. If you can live on your current income today, you can live on it tomorrow while saving the extra. Most people increase their expenses with every pay increase. They upgrade comfort instead of capital. Don't make that mistake. Let your lifestyle rise slower than your income, and let your savings rise faster. Saving is the foundation upon which every other financial principle rests. It's how you buy freedom, not just things. It's how you buy time, options, and peace of mind. Because the person who saves consistently will always have choices, and choices are the real definition of wealth. So start now, no matter how small, no matter how late. Begin saving today, not because you have extra, but because your future deserves it. Remember, wealth doesn't come from what you earn, it comes from what you keep. One of the most important lessons I ever learned about wealth is this. The rich don't just earn money, they use money. They understand that dollars are like employees. They can either sit idle, or they can go out and work to bring back more dollars. The secret to long-term wealth isn't just in earning a consistent income, but in turning that income into consistent investment. Because earning money can make you a living, but investing it wisely can make you a fortune. Most people spend their whole lives working for money, trading their time, their energy, their creativity, all for a paycheck that's gone almost as soon as it arrives. But here's what separates the wealthy. They eventually flip the equation. They stop working for money and start letting money work for them. It's a shift in mindset first and a shift in behavior second. You don't have to be rich to start. You have to start to become rich. When I began learning about money, my mentor told me something that stuck with me forever. He said, it's not how much you make that counts. It's how much of what you make you can put to work. I remember thinking, but I don't have much to invest, and he smiled and said, then start with little. You'd be surprised what a little can do when it works all the time. That's the power of consistency. Investing a small, regular amount every month, no matter the market, no matter the mood, no matter the distractions. The truth is, wealth isn't built in leaps, it's built in layers. A few dollars invested regularly, month after month, quietly compounds into something remarkable. Compounding is one of life's most reliable miracles. It doesn't demand brilliance, only patience. You just have to keep feeding it and never interrupt it. Reinvest every profit, every dividend, every small return. Don't spend the fruit, replant the seeds. That's how your financial garden grows, from one tiny seed of discipline. Now, consistency in investing also means consistency in your mindset. You can't react emotionally to every dip, headline, or rumor. The market has moods, sometimes cheerful, sometimes fearful, but emotions make terrible investment advisors. That's why I tell people, check your portfolio quarterly, not daily, because daily watching invites anxiety, and anxiety invites poor decisions. Wealth builders plan, gamblers react. The game is won not by speed, but by steadiness. So automate it. Set up your investments so they happen on schedule, automatically, without your emotions interfering. Whether it's a few dollars into index funds, a monthly contribution to your retirement account, or a simple reinvestment of dividends, make it mechanical. The beauty of automation is that it removes debate. And when emotion is gone, progress becomes inevitable. Over time, you'll notice something incredible. The money you once worked hard to earn starts earning harder than you ever could. Your income from labor slowly gives way to income from capital, and that's when freedom begins. Because financial freedom isn't having millions in the bank. It's having your money earn enough that you don't have to. So remember, don't just work for money, make money work for you. Start small, stay consistent, reinvest always, and let time and discipline do their quiet, magnificent work. Wealth doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who invest patiently and persistently. Let me tell you something very few people understand about money. Awareness is the starting point of control. You can earn a lot, invest consistently, even save diligently. But if you never look at your finances, you are wandering blindfolded through a minefield. Most people drift financially because they assume everything is fine, bills are paid, the paycheck arrives, life goes on. But wealth doesn't grow by assumption. It grows by attention, by tracking, by knowing exactly where your dollars go and what they are doing for you. I remember when I first started in business, I was working hard, but I felt like my money slipped through my fingers. One simple change transformed everything. I started reviewing my finances weekly. Every Sunday I'd sit with my ledger, my bank statements, my receipts, and I asked one question: where did my money go? And where is it working for me? That simple ritual exposed habits I didn't realize were draining my resources. And when you see where the leaks are, you can plug them. Awareness precedes control. Control precedes growth. The strategy is simple, yet few stick with it. Schedule a weekly money meeting with yourself. Treat it as a sacred appointment, no excuses. During this time, review every source of income, every expense, every savings goal. See patterns emerge. Notice small leaks that, over time, create stress. You'll begin to understand not just the numbers, but the story your money tells, your priorities, your weaknesses, your potential. Then comes the action. Awareness without adjustment is just bookkeeping. Use what you learn to refine habits. Trim unnecessary spending. Redirect resources towards savings and investments. Adjust your budget monthly. This process turns passive income management into active wealth creation. Over time, this small weekly habit compounds just like money. Consistent attention leads to disciplined decisions. Disciplined decisions lead to growing wealth, and growing wealth leads to freedom. Remember, the rich don't guess, they know. They measure, they track, they adjust, and that's why they stay ahead. If you commit to consistently reviewing your finances, you're not just keeping score. You're gaining power over your money, your future, and your life. Wealth begins when you see clearly. Let's talk about something too few people truly understand. Cash flow is the lifeblood of wealth, and consistency is the pulse that keeps it alive. You see, one income is too close to none. Relying solely on a paycheck may feel secure, but it leaves you vulnerable, dependent, and ultimately limited. The wealthy understand this. They don't wait for a windfall, a lottery, or a lucky break. They create multiple streams of income, small at first, then growing, until those streams become rivers that flow steadily, even when storms hit. When I began building my own wealth, I didn't start with grand investments or high-stakes ventures. I started small, one side hustle at a time. I created small sources of income, a freelance job, a product I could sell, a simple investment that paid a small dividend. Each one was modest but consistent. Each one was nurtured like a seed, reinvested, and allowed to grow. Over the years, those small beginnings compounded into a reliable, diversified cash flow. And that is the secret. Wealth doesn't explode overnight. It accumulates quietly, powered by discipline and repeated action. The strategy is simple but demands persistence. Commit to starting one new income stream per year, no matter how small. Treat each opportunity as a building block, not an instant jackpot. Reinvest every profit, every surplus into assets that generate more income. Buy things that work for you rather than luxuries that drain your resources. Focus on activities that scale, methods that multiply your effort, rather than just require more hours of work. Scalability is the game changer. A single-hour hustle only works so long. An asset that earns while you sleep, compounded with disciplined reinvestment, is unstoppable. The more consistent your effort in nurturing these streams, the more predictable and powerful your cash flow becomes. Eventually, you won't trade hours for dollars. You'll have systems, assets, and habits working tirelessly to produce income. That is financial freedom. Income that is predictable, growing, and independent of your immediate effort. Remember, wealth is not about how hard you work. It's about how disciplined and consistent you are in creating and maintaining multiple streams of income. Start today, no matter how small. The rivers of cash flow are fed by the drops you plant consistently. Let's talk about a principle that separates ordinary people from millionaires. Delayed gratification. The rich think long-term, the poor think weekend. You see, wealth is rarely the result of a single windfall, a lucky deal, or a sudden opportunity. It is the product of consistent, patient actions. The ability to say not now to pleasure and yes to your future. I've seen people blow opportunities simply because they couldn't wait. They spent profits on temporary joy rather than reinvesting in growth. Meanwhile, those who master patience, who consistently postpone gratification, build prosperity that lasts decades. The strategy is simple but requires self-control. Treat every major purchase with caution. I call it the 4-8-hour rule. Wait 2 days before spending on something expensive or non-essential. This pause creates perspective. Often, the desire fades and your money remains invested in growth. Reinvest profits consistently rather than celebrating too early. If you take every gain and spend it immediately, you never allow compounding to work its magic. Every dollar saved, every asset reinvested, is a soldier working quietly for your future freedom. Visualization is a powerful tool in this process. Every morning, imagine the financial reward 5 years from now, the security, the freedom, the ability to act without stress. When you see that outcome clearly, it strengthens your discipline. Patience becomes easier, consistency becomes natural, and choices that once seemed painful now feel empowering. Consistency in delayed gratification transforms ordinary earnings into extraordinary wealth. Each time you say later to fleeting pleasure and yes to your future, you are planting seeds of financial freedom. Remember, prosperity is not instant. It is patient, deliberate, and built over time. Let patience guide your actions today, and your wealth will compound silently, powerfully, and permanently. Let's explore a principle that the truly wealthy understand, but few practice consistently: giving. You see, wealth is not just what you keep, it's also what you circulate. Only by giving can you receive more than you already have. I've watched countless people hoard every dollar, thinking accumulation alone equals prosperity. Yet, their lives remain stagnant. On the other hand, those who consistently give, whether time, knowledge, or money, discover that life has a remarkable way of returning more than they offered. Giving is not a subtraction, it is an investment in abundance. The strategy is simple: make generosity a rhythm, not a reaction. Too often, people give sporadically, when it's convenient or when they feel guilty. The wealthy build giving into their financial and personal calendar. Give a fixed percentage of your income, 5 to 10%, to causes that inspire you. This is not charity for appearance's sake. It is strategic circulation. Every act of giving trains your mind to see wealth as a flow, not a hoard. Beyond money, share your knowledge or mentorship with someone growing in your field. Teaching someone how to succeed multiplies your impact far beyond a single dollar. Practical steps make this principle actionable. Schedule monthly or quarterly giving. Pick causes or people where your contribution makes a real difference. Track the effects and watch how your perspective on money transforms. As you give consistently, you'll notice opportunities appear, relationships deepen, and your own financial decisions become more thoughtful. You are, in essence, planting seeds for future abundance while simultaneously helping others grow. Consistency in giving completes the cycle of wealth. When your money circulates, it gains energy, purpose, and momentum. Wealth does not flow to those who merely accumulate. It flows to those who contribute, teach, and invest in others. Build this habit, and you will find that the more you give, the more life returns to you. Generosity is not loss. It is the secret multiplier of lasting prosperity. Let's talk about a principle that is often overlooked, but absolutely essential: your health. You can have the sharpest mind, the best strategy, and the most disciplined habits, but without energy, all of it collapses. I've seen people chase wealth relentlessly, only to burn out, fall sick, or lose the very vitality that made success possible. Consistency in health is just as important as consistency in saving, investing, or learning. Physical and mental energy are the fuel that powers every action, every decision, and every opportunity. You cannot consistently show up at your best for work, for investments, or for life if your body is depleted and your mind foggy. The strategy is simple. Treat your body as an asset, not a machine to be abused. Wealth can be regained, but your health takes time, energy, and sometimes fortune to restore once lost. Sleep is non-negotiable. 7 or more hours every night is not laziness, it's strategic maintenance. Movement is crucial. Even a 2-0-minute walk can clear your mind, improve mood, and sharpen clarity. Don't wait for illness to force discipline. Eat with intention, rest with purpose, and honor your body as the foundation for everything else you wish to achieve. Practical steps help make this consistency actionable. Schedule your sleep like a meeting with your future self. Move daily, even if it's a brief walk or a short exercise routine. Make mindful choices about food and downtime, seeing them as investments in your long-term energy. Track your energy levels over time and adjust to optimize performance. Consistency in health ensures that your wealth-building efforts are sustainable. Money can buy many things, but it cannot buy clarity, endurance, or the energy to seize opportunities. Treat your body as a sacred asset, and it will carry you consistently toward your financial and personal goals. Your health is the true currency that amplifies every other form of wealth. Let's take a moment to talk about something that most people underestimate when they think about wealth: your health. You can study every financial strategy, master every skill, and make the smartest investments. But if you don't have the energy to implement them consistently, all your plans are useless. The body is the first asset you own. You can replace a car, a house, or even a business, but you cannot replace your physical and mental vitality once it's gone. I've met countless individuals who worked tirelessly to build financial security but neglected their health. Some thought sleep was a luxury, meals were a nuisance, and exercise was optional. In the end, they had the money but not the energy to enjoy it, not the clarity to make sound decisions, and not the endurance to sustain their efforts. Wealth without health is a fragile house built on sand. Consistency in health is like compounding for your body. Small daily investments accumulate enormous returns over time. Sleeping 7 or more hours each night is not indulgence. It's a strategic choice. Your brain consolidates learning, resets your energy, and repairs your body during sleep. Skipping it may feel like gaining time, but in reality, you lose efficiency, focus, and resilience. Daily movement is another non-negotiable. Even a simple 20-minute walk increases circulation, clears mental fog, reduces stress, and improves decision-making. The richest and most successful people aren't just disciplined with money. They are disciplined with their bodies because they know that energy is the currency of execution. Nutrition is equally critical. Eating with purpose means fueling your body for clarity and endurance, not simply indulging cravings. Balanced meals that sustain energy will keep you sharp, focused, and productive. Rest is not laziness. It's preparation for action. Treat every meal, every workout, every rest period as an investment in the asset that powers all others, you. Practical steps make this consistency achievable. Schedule your sleep as strictly as any business meeting. Move daily, even lightly. Walking, stretching, or a short exercise routine. Track your energy and adjust your habits. View food and rest not as rewards, but as critical tools for long-term performance. Combine these practices, and you will notice your mental clarity improve, your stress diminish, and your ability to implement financial and personal strategies strengthen. In short, your health is the foundation of all wealth. Without energy, nothing else lasts. Treat your body as your most valuable asset. Nurture it consistently, and every financial, professional, and personal goal will become far easier to reach. Your energy isn't just life, it's leverage. And leverage turns ordinary actions into extraordinary results. Let's talk about gratitude, the often overlooked muscle that builds not only character, but prosperity itself. Many people chase wealth with relentless ambition, eyes fixed on the next goal, the next raise, the next opportunity. And while ambition is necessary, ambition without gratitude becomes anxiety, restlessness, and dissatisfaction. The rich, the truly successful people, understand that wealth begins in the mind, not the bank. It begins with appreciation. Learning to be happy with what you have while pursuing what you want is a paradox that most overlook, but it is one of the greatest principles of sustained success. I've seen countless individuals who, despite earning more than they ever imagined, were unhappy because they never paused to acknowledge what they already had. Conversely, those who cultivate gratitude, even in small ways, find themselves more patient, more disciplined, and more attuned to opportunities others miss. Consistency in gratitude transforms your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Start every day by writing down 3 things you're genuinely grateful for. They don't have to be monumental. A warm cup of coffee, a supportive colleague, or a quiet moment of clarity counts. This simple practice rewires your mind to notice abundance instead of lack. It fosters calm, focus, and energy, qualities that make you far more effective in wealth building. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Every step forward, every dollar saved, every skill acquired is a victory. Recognizing these wins strengthens momentum and encourages consistency in your actions. Expressing gratitude to others amplifies its power. Thank mentors, partners, colleagues, and family members who support your journey. Gratitude deepens relationships, and relationships are a key form of leverage in wealth creation. A network built on respect, trust, and appreciation multiplies opportunities, ideas, and resources. When you consistently practice gratitude, your ambition is no longer fueled by anxiety, but by appreciation. Your actions become purposeful, your relationships richer, and your mind more disciplined. Gratitude is the anchor that keeps you steady while you reach higher. Build it daily, and prosperity in every form begins to flow naturally. Let's talk about consistency. The quiet engine that transforms ordinary talent into extraordinary results. Talent alone is not enough. I've met brilliant people gifted in skill and knowledge who never achieve financial freedom or personal success. Why? Because brilliance without follow-through fades like sparks in the wind. Wealth, opportunity, and mastery all gravitate toward those who stay the course, who show up day after day, year after year, doing the small things that others neglect. Consistency is the bridge between potential and results. It turns average ability into exceptional achievement, and small daily actions into massive long-term rewards. The strategy is simple but profound. Focus on daily disciplines rather than chasing recognition, trends, or quick wins. Don't compare your beginning to someone else's peak. The tortoise, not the hare, wins the wealth game. You might feel like your efforts are insignificant today, saving a little money, learning a skill, improving one habit, but these incremental actions compound into results that are undeniable over time. Practical steps matter. Set a 5-year consistency goal. Decide today the habits, routines, and disciplines you will commit to for the next 5 years, and stick to them. Review your long-term progress quarterly. This is not to obsess over every day, but to ensure momentum is building. Celebrate small victories along the way. They reinforce habit and sustain motivation. Ignore trends, market hype, and the pressure to act impulsively. True wealth and mastery come from timeless principles practiced relentlessly. When you commit to consistency, your life becomes predictable in the best possible way. Predictable in growth, predictable in learning, predictable in results. The ordinary is transformed into extraordinary. Stick with your disciplines. Focus on what you can control, and watch as your average talents compound into exceptional outcomes that no sudden success could ever match. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked, yet powerful principles of success: keeping promises to yourself. So often, people make commitments to others, but they break the ones that matter most, the ones to themselves. And here's the truth. Self-discipline is the highest form of self-respect. When you honor your own word, you're sending a signal to your mind, your heart, and even to the universe. I am reliable. I am capable. I am worthy. This trust in yourself compounds over time, just like interest on an investment, creating a foundation for confidence, clarity, and consistent achievement. Without it, no amount of knowledge, strategy, or luck can sustain long-term success. The strategy is simple, yet it requires vigilance. Treat every promise to yourself as sacred. It might be a promise to wake early, to save money, to learn a skill, or to take a small action toward a larger goal. Start each day with intention. Write down what you will do, and not vaguely, but with specific, measurable actions. This daily ritual transforms abstract desires into actionable commitments. At night, reflect honestly. Did I keep my word today? This self-review may be uncomfortable at first, but it is where growth begins. You can't improve what you don't measure. Consistency is key. Keeping your word even in small, seemingly insignificant matters is what builds unshakable self-trust. That trust becomes your inner authority. It's what keeps you following through when motivation fades, when distractions arise, when life challenges your plans. Over time, your identity shifts. You stop thinking, I want to achieve, and start knowing, I am someone who achieves. Wealth, success, and freedom flow naturally from that identity because your actions align perfectly with your intentions. Practical steps make this habit tangible. Begin each morning with 3 clear intentions: what you will do, how you will act, and how you will honor yourself. At night, honestly reflect on each intention. Celebrate the ones you kept. Analyze the ones you missed. Without judgment, just clarity. Let your consistency, day in and day out, define who you are. When you keep your word to yourself, you are investing in the most important asset you have, your own character. Self-trust becomes your superpower, and from it, all forms of wealth and success become achievable. Let me leave you with this, because it is perhaps the most important message of all. Consistency is the invisible thread that weaves ordinary effort into extraordinary results. I've spent decades observing, studying, and mentoring people who have achieved financial freedom, personal mastery, and extraordinary influence, and one pattern emerges above all others. It's not luck, it's not intelligence, it's not even timing. It's a quiet, relentless, day in, day out commitment to the disciplines that matter. Those who succeed consistently show up, keep their word, nurture their habits, and invest in themselves steadily. Those who fail are usually brilliant in bursts, but inconsistent over the long haul. You can have all the talent, knowledge, and opportunity in the world, but if you lack consistency, you will never achieve the freedom, wealth, or influence you imagine. Think about it. A millionaire isn't made by a single investment, a sudden windfall, or a lucky strike. A millionaire is made by thousands of small, consistent actions repeated over years. Saving a little each week, learning a little each day, delivering on promises, showing up when no one is watching, these small actions accumulate like compounding interest. They build trust, credibility, and confidence. They create cash flow, assets, and freedom. And just as money compounds over time, so too does your character, your discipline, and your reputation. One consistent action repeated daily becomes a habit. One habit repeated for years becomes identity, and identity determines destiny. Consistency works hand in hand with purpose. It is not enough to merely act every day. The actions must align with your vision, your goals, and your values. This is why reflection, review, and clarity are essential. Take time weekly to evaluate your progress. Are your actions feeding your long-term goals, or are they feeding short-term distractions? Are you investing your energy and money where it multiplies, or are you squandering it on fleeting pleasures? Are your habits moving you toward the person you want to become, or are they keeping you anchored in who you were yesterday? Wealth, freedom, and impact do not come from wishful thinking. They come from deliberate, aligned, and consistent action. And let's not forget the pillars that support this journey: your health, your relationships, your generosity, and your knowledge. Consistency in health ensures you have the energy to pursue your goals without burnout. Consistency in learning ensures your mind is sharp, adaptable, and prepared to capitalize on opportunity. Consistency in giving and contribution multiplies your influence, your network, and your opportunities. And consistency in relationships builds trust, collaboration, and leverage that no one can achieve alone. Each of these pillars compounds over time, just as your financial efforts do. Neglect one, and the whole structure becomes fragile. Nurture all, and you create a life that is resilient, expansive, and abundant.